Happy Friday, you lovely lot. I'm just out walking the dog before it gets a bit hotter, whilst it's cool. And today's news and yesterday's news, past 24 hours, have been very, very exciting for West Ham, hasn't it? So Amanda Staveley was linked, 5-6 weeks ago in purchasing the club, or purchasing into the club, with all the rumours and all the interviews and all the little nuggets of gold, little stuff that's coming out, that now officially £160 million bid has gone in to acquire the gold shares, which totals 25.1%. Now, people are getting a bit confused with it all, saying, well, that still makes David Sullivan the majority shareholder. It does, but let's not forget he's resigned as a director, meaning that he has no say on this football club in terms of the running and the organisation of it, because he has no responsibilities, just ownership. Now, Daniel Kretinsky put out a statement before of the initial plan to buy Vanessa Gold shares, or some of them, to become the majority shareholder at the club, to make the decision making. But for me, that was, okay, that's great, what next? But it was always going to be the backup plan. And since Amanda Staveley come into the frame, this is plan A. This has always been plan A. To get Daniel Kretinsky, who's worth 15 billion quid, and Amanda Staveley's consortium, bear in mind it's not Amanda Staveley, it's the consortium led by Amanda Staveley, to purchase some of the club and then look to purchase some of David Sullivan's as well, is a good thing. Because Daniel Kretinsky having majority stake would only mean that he has questionable attributes to be a main chairman. I mean, yeah, just have to ask the Sparta Prague fans in terms of how he's dealt their club. But with Amanda Staveley coming on board, she has football knowledge, she has experience, she understands the game, she gets what the fans are about, you know. And I think you just got to look at Newcastle, their time at Newcastle, in terms of what they achieved in such a short space of time to get the feel-good factor back at the club and win them a trophy that's been eluding them for almost 70 years. You know, since their departure, it's quite evident the fact that how much they've dropped off on the pitch, and that is, you know, they can't spend the amount of money that the PIF have because they're limited to squad cost ratio, meaning that they really should have invested more in a commercial asset. West Ham have a better commercial asset than Newcastle. Even now that we're in the Championship, we're probably about the same level playing field as them. But with Amanda Staveley coming in, she's no mug. She knows exactly what's on the table. She knows exactly what she's in for. But it's worth noting that the Reuben brothers, who are her very, very close financial partners, they still have a stake in Newcastle. So I'll keep a watchful eye on what happens on Newcastle as to whether they relinquish their stakeholding to PIF, so that PIF get full control, because they would have a significant interest in the development at Stratford, because they were part of the redevelopment proposal for the London 2012 Olympics in that area. So they have a very, very financial interest in that part of the world. And I'll tell you for why, because there's a continuous talk about West Ham taking over the London Stadium or buying it outright. Now, people, Simon Jordan has kind of raised alarm, saying, why would anyone want to just buy a football club and then spend the amount of money to build them a new stadium? Why would they do that? And I'll tell you for why. Because the London Stadium, the building, is worth zero. It's a money-losing asset. The land that it's on is probably, give or take, worth around £200 million. Now, again, I'm not an estimator, I'm not a valuation person, I'm not an expert, but that's what they're saying that the valuation comes to. Now, if people buy, West Ham have got a pretty long-term agreement locked in terms of they're there for another 89 years. So there has to be some significant investment or parting of ways with cash, so that the government can get the full control of that. But if West Ham buy the stadium, or the owners that buy the stadium, will not only buy that, they'll buy the land. So with the Reuben brothers and whoever is interested, thinking, hang on, we could earn a few quid out of this. We could earn quite a few quid out of this. Now, it took into account that the London Stadium is around 49 acres in size. But the area of the London Stadium is 49 acres in size. Now, if you put a 55-seater stadium in there and then redevelop around it, top end, you're looking at about 7,000 flats. 7,000 apartments that could be built in that area. Now, the average comparable rate is £484,000 per flat. Now, quick maths, 7,000 homes, and they sell for £485,000. That's near enough £3.5 billion. £3.5 billion. So when people ask, why would West Ham owners would want to buy the club, buy the land, and then build a new stadium? Because there's a lot of profit that could come with it. So it's all good news, really. It's all good news for West Ham, because we're going to get owners that are going to project our football club. We're going to get people that make right decisions, think about the fans, think about the commercial assets of it. But they're not just in it for the club. Let's just be aware of that. They're not just in it for the club. They're in it to regenerate Stratford, which has been neglected for a terrible Olympic legacy campaign. Poor foresight, poor forward thinking. And now people are going to come in to fix that. And maybe West Ham will finally have a home, a full-time home, and an area they can be proud of, because now the redevelopment begins today. Come on, you Irons. Here's hoping for a better future.